Okay.
I would ask, do you want to introduce yourself? But also, I don't give you an option, so you're gonna have to introduce yourself, boss, because I'm not
Okay.
worldwide news, and I'm not like today on this episode we have no fuck that. So, um, who are you?
Sounds
What do you
good.
do?
Do you want me to do that now? Okay, I'll do that
Yeah,
now. I can do that now. We'll just get that out of the way.
yeah, get it.
Yeah, get that out of the way. Okay,
The
so my name
bullshit,
is Carlen. Yeah, get the bullshit, the
which is a
party
beautiful
bullshit.
name, by the way. I've never fucking seen that shit before, and I'm like, Carlen. Oh my god, it doesn't sound beautiful in my accent, but
No, say it again. Say it again.
it sounds like super like aggressive, Carlen.
Yeah. So my name is actually Gaelic. So I love it when
Oh way,
people from the UK say my name because that's how it's actually supposed to be
wow.
said, right? So I say my name in my like Canadian accent of like, this is how I want to claim my name. But how you guys say it, and I love it when Irish people say my name because my name is Gaelic. So you guys say my name more correct than I do, which is
Wow.
pretty great. My grandfather named me, but after an Irish like entertainer that he like loved. Apparently that's how the story goes. So
Wow.
yeah, but I'm Carlen. Yeah.
The more you know.
The more you know. So I'm Carlen Costa. I'm a clinical sexologist and psychotherapist, cannabis educator, best-selling author, and founder of the radical love and lifestyle brand called the Everyday Goddess. Yay. That's me. Doing things.
I'm so glad you introduced yourself, because that was so much better than I could have ever have done. I'd have been like, she's got a pretty cool name. She's a bit of all right. She
Yeah,
does some
yeah.
shit.
Just talks about sex. Yeah.
Talks about fucking and a weed.
That's what it should say on my business card. Carlen, she knows about fucking. That's
I think,
what it should say.
yeah, but I think you'd get some inquiries for a totally different service.
Yeah.
Especially if
I'm not
it finds
that.
itself into like a bar or a club late at night. It's like gets to 1-2 a.m. You're like, Carlen, she knows about fucking. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give her a little ring. You're like, why am I getting all these messages at fucking 2 o'clock in the morning? Like, practice is short. Go away.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like, and how many of you still have an erection at this time of night? Because I know what happens at pubs. Like, come on.
It's those little.
Don't show up to sleep. That's not what we're here for. I'm not like, I don't want to share my bed if you're just showing up to sleep. I don't care about the cuddles. I don't care. Get the fuck out of here.
You've got those little.
Get the fuck out.
You've got those little dispensaries, that gives you a little blue Smartie, and then you can go all night.
Oh yeah, true. But okay, but to be fair, I've had one too many younger patient in their early 20s where doctors are just giving them, right? So giving them all of these pills, and I like scream, like the professional in me like screams, because it is not okay for medical doctors to be giving young men in their 20s Viagra, Cialis, whatever kind of pill you want to give. What you need to be doing is working with them to talk to a therapist. The fastest population, the fastest demographic that is actually growing for erectile dysfunction is young men aged 16 to 25.
16?
And 16 to 25. Yeah. But the reason for that, there's a few different reasons for that. We fail as a society to support men. I totally think so. I totally think that we fail to support the emotional intelligence of men in our world. B, I love porn. I'm pro porn. I'm here for it. But the access to it is messing with men's erections.
Agreed.
And I can explain that further as well. But that's what's happening. Oh, and then because we also don't support men to become emotionally intelligent, to do that work, a lot of these men now are growing up to be very very less confident in their relationships, in how to like flirt with people, how to pick up on people. It's not the same anymore, and I feel so bad for men. I mean, that's why I also am releasing a men's program, because it's not okay. But but yeah, with like, you know, so I've had a couple patients in their early 20s, and what would happen is this is when they were on their own and masturbating, could keep it hard, could come a way to go, you know, living their best life. As soon as they got with a partner, like a girlfriend or something, right? They would go to have sex with them and they would lose their erection. And I can tell you why. The reason why is because when we masturbate, what we are doing is we are conditioning or telling our body, this is pleasure. This feels good. This is where I can be my safest. And this is where I can be my most vulnerable, right? Self-love and the act of masturbation isn't just like, let's wank one off and have an orgasm, right? Self-pleasure is about curating or nurturing your love for yourself, your experience, like your love and your connection of yourself to yourself. That's a big fucking deal. And we don't put enough of a big fucking deal on it. So instead, what we do is we give all these young men whose like hormones are raging like crazy. They want to fuck everything that moves. They see a hole. They want to stick their dick in it. I get it. If I had a dick, I would want to do the same thing. Right. And then we give them all this free access to porn. And we're like, here you go. So all they do is just like masturbate, these quick masturbatory sessions, just one-offs, like boom, 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 boom. Many of these men are watching the same kind of porn and masturbating the action in the exact same way, repetitively over time. Well, when you get in front of a person, right? That's not Sandy right hand. Like that's not what's happening. Yeah, right. I don't. Lucy left is Lucy like what it is.
Oh, the
right?
stranger.
Yeah, but you don't recognize the stranger, and your body doesn't recognize the stranger, and your neural pathways aren't programmed to also recognize that person, that stranger. So when you get in front of a person, because you've conditioned your body to experience pleasure in one way, when you get in front of a person, your body's like, I don't know what this is. I don't recognize this. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. So what I'm saying is people need to have more sex and masturbate less, I guess.
I honestly agree.
But not, yeah.
Well, I attack it from an academia standpoint, right? I can only attack it from an experience or any conversations I've had with people, which usually isn't a lot, right? Like if you, like a dude to a dude, like honestly, all the enlightening conversations I've ever had in the realm of physical intimacy, fucking boundaries, like kink, any of that bullshit, right, has always been towards a lady because they're open to have that some of them are open to have that conversation. With a dude, well, I'm not having the act with a dude. That just does not float my boat. Like fair play if it does, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
But like I can't have that conversation with a dude because most of the time, like they're like completely shut off with it. I could do it with my brothers, who aren't my brothers, but I call them my brothers. Like I could do it with those two. But everyone else, they would just completely shut off. And then in terms of like ladies, like there's so many, and I think I agree. Like you become desensitized to it, right? Like I'm sure everyone can relate. Like if you go down like a fucking porn rabbit hole, right? You're like, okay, you start off with, okay, what your favorite genre, whatever the fuck it is, and then the next thing you know, it gets a little bit different.
Big-breasted women, you're on like big-breasted women. You're on BBW. You're there.
Then it gets real weird.
Threesomes. Then it moves into gangbangs. Then it moves into like spaces and places like beyond gangbangs.
Some crazy shit, right?
That's the line. I feel like gangbangs are the line.
I mean, what's after it?
Well, there's a lot of things. People have like. Here's what I say: if you can think it, someone's fucked it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
probably.
Honest to goddess, 7 billion people on the planet, right? That's what are the odds that someone has learned how to fuck something, right? Whether it's a marker or like a cell phone. People have sex with their cell phones.
Listen, man, like whatever gets you off, you know, as long as you're safe and the other person's safe, like, you know, that's fine. But call me. So I sat on the washing machine, right? That's like
Exactly.
that's the fifth load you put on today, love. What are you doing? I was like, nothing. It's like,
No. I have a great story for you. I've got a good one.
go.
And so you know what a bidet is? A bidet. Do you not know what a bidet is?
Define.
Like, you know how you go to the washroom, you go to the bathroom, there's a toilet, there's the shower, there's a sink, and then there's always sometimes, especially in Europe, there's like this other thing, the water shoots up from it.
Oh, yeah, but yes, I do. I can picture it. I didn't know it was called a bidet. Well, us poor people don't
Oh,
have that shit.
oh, okay. Okay. I was like, do you call it something else? I was like, do you call it something?
No,
I didn't
we
know if you
we don't
called it
have that
something.
bullshit.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, so there's this bidet, right? And I mean, they're all over. Like, I think every household in Portugal has one. It's like a whole thing. But we had one growing up, and I fucking love that thing.
Nice.
Once I discovered what an orgasm was, and then like I just, I sat on it one time to like wash my bits, and then all of a sudden the water just like went a certain way, and I was like, oh,
Oh Jesus.
oh, oh,
Hey now.
this is this is an experience. Hold on a second. That's how I got through my teen years.
Wow. So it's
You know?
it's like self-exploration, you know. It's
Yeah.
it's definitely demonized. Yeah, it definitely is demonized, and I don't know why. Like I'm very
Sex?
in yeah, and also whether it's solo, whether it is with a partner, whether it's with multiple, whether it's a fucking weird quote unquote strange abnormal kink that someone might have or whatever it is, right? I don't get why it is demonized, because what I'm really interested to hear about is like healing from it and using it as like a healing energy, whether that is,
Yeah.
some people go one way and like try to own their trauma through it, and then people go the other way and try and improve like connection and intimacy, and it's got naught to do with fucking bending someone over and ramming the back end out of them. It's got everything to do with everything else. And
Intention.
yeah, like it's a completely different realm that no one ever really dabbles in, because you're kind of portrayed with this very small niche of fucking, which is porn, right? And you're like, oh, okay, if you don't fuck like a porn star, you're not going to be quote unquote good. And you're like,
It's so sad.
wait, like I draw quite a lot of comparisons to fitness, right, and the gym, because that's kind of where like a lot of the journey started for me. Is like, all right, well, we know there's many ways to skin a cat in the gym, right? So you can train in many, many different ways, like a billion and one different ways. And they're coming out with these like machines that you put in your house, and you're doing all this crazy shit with it, like you're skiing in the Alps and whatever. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. Fantastic. Do your thing. Yeah. It's like, oh no, with sex, you have to do missionary with the lights off or doggy style on your birthday. And that's it. And you'll give each other a high five, and that's kind of done. You're like, well, if we're able to appreciate the vast differences in one side, then we've got to be able to appreciate the vast differences in the other.
Absolutely. I completely agree with what you're saying, right? I love that you brought up sex as a healing modality, right? Because I've done training as a sacred sex facilitator, and it is so much more. And especially, I love that you come from like a fitness world, because we talk about how you can fuel your energy, right? Or how you can direct your energy through your body. You see that a lot in the fitness world, right? You see that like with boxers who don't ejaculate before a big fight, right? You see that with CrossFitters and like weightlifters, right? Who keep all that energy within themselves and then learn how to move it and exert it, right? Sex is the same thing. Sex can do the same thing, right? Sex can heal your relationships. Sex can help you manifest. Sex, your orgasm, like that moment is one of the most powerful moments, one of the most powerful singular emissions of energy that your body creates. And if you add a manifestation to it, let me tell you, you can change your whole life. You can change your whole life just through sex magic.
Literally is magic.
It literally is magic.
God damn.
I mean, yeah, I love magic. I think magic's great.
Fuck yeah.
I think people who think, that the only answer in all the world is science doesn't understand what magic is. It doesn't understand that magic is science. I think if I'm going to live in this world, I don't want it to be so predictable. I don't want everything to be so predictable. I want there to be an air of pleasure to my life. And I think, magic and manifestation and sacredness and, even just like activating personal power and actualization, Carl Jung stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's my shit.
Yeah, love, attraction, all of that, all of those types of things. Those are also universal laws, quantum theory, all of that. Those are all very universal law stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just like to live in that world. I just have a lot more fun in that world.
The thing is, the more you go
Sex
into it, yeah, I mean, fuck, you enjoy yourself, right? If you don't, I guess there's something that needs to be addressed. But like, if you go into it like super deep, like everything in life is physics, right? But physics overlaps with philosophy because it has to come from some sort of theory and some sort of question. And physics is trying to understand the meaning of things, right? So then it's philosophical. So you're getting this hard skill and this soft skill and the overlap, right? And rather than it's like, oh no, we can't quantify it and define it and see a fucking numerical value and like, oh no, then it's bullshit. I'm like, well, if you go past that and you go further and further into it and deeper into it, then you're actually getting this crazy, beautiful overlap where everything kind of comes together. And we don't know. Yeah. We don't truly know. We're trying to figure it out. And there's many, many ways to do that and many slices to the pie. And I think fucking, as a pleasure outlet and as a reproduction thing, it's going to be there anyway, because we're going to need it, right, to stay here. And it's such an important part of life, in my opinion. For others, it might not be that, but in my opinion, it is. But I think it's got so many ties to trauma and insecurity and shit like that hinders a lot of people. And I'm a big advocate of spending time in your own space and figuring out who the fuck you are and understanding your own limitations so you can work with them rather than allowing them to work against you, right? And I think going into the intimacy room or intimacy sort of realm, so to speak, just takes things a step further, because now you have to be that vulnerable with someone else, and that's fucking scary.
So scary. I love that you said spend time in your own space. I really love that quote. Spend time in your own space. The number of people out there, most people out there don't know who the fuck they are. That's 100%. Sad. But and it's sad. However, no one told me that I had to do that. You know what I mean? No one told me. I didn't even know that was an option. And that's why it's sad for me. It's not that people don't know it, that don't do the work. It's that people don't even recognize that it's an option, right? How many people just fall in line, right? It's like you're born, you live your life, you do all the things, you're a teenager, you're a little bastard for so many years, right? And then you either get a job. Yes, still are, right? You either get a job or you go to college, find a wife, you get a home, get a mortgage, probably down the street from your parents, start popping up babies and just cycle it out again, right? Just keep doing it. And for some people, that's really wonderful. And it's a beautiful life. And that's the thing. Except there's so many people who fall in line in that way. And then 10, 15 years later, they end up on my Zoom couch And they're like, I don't know why I don't like my life. And I'm like, well, because you created it based on the expectation of what other people told you were supposed to do, what other people have told you is your happiness, what other people have told you is what happiness is supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried it. I'm not going to lie. I tried it. I thought that that's what you were supposed to do. So I went to school. I'm in university. I met one of the loves of my life. And so in university, you know, I've had many loves, but then after university, I was going to grad school. I met one of the loves of my life, and it was like, all right, I guess let's try this. Let's do this thing. So, you know, you get the house. We even got the dog, but it always felt like something was missing. You know, it felt like something was just not right. And I don't know if it's because I just kind of started to fall in line, or if I was already starting to unravel where I was going. You know what I mean? I think it can be, you know, I think you can kind of relate to that. It's like, was I going this way and then all of a sudden I decided to stop? Or is my uncomfortability with how my current situation is already the unraveling?
100%.
Right?
I agree and relate on a lot of levels. And I also would pull in a quote from Jim Carrey about depression. And he says that depression is when your body says, fuck you, I don't want to play this character no more. And that's yeah, and it's a way that, like, I'll go super dark quite a lot, and usually my brain frequency runs quite low just as a natural human being. If I'm not, it's a bit like imbalanced in the sense of I'm super fucking passionate and I'll be like, let's grab life by the balls and squeeze what you want out of it and let's go. But that's kind of like, if I'm not like that and doing something that like lights me the fuck up, I know my normal, my average, and where I kind of sit is like a lot lower, and I don't want to be there, right? But I look at it in a sense of, well, that's a gift, because I know if I'm in a space where body saying and soul saying, fuck you, I don't want to play this character anymore. Like I don't want to do this. Like we're playing out a role that you're not supposed to be playing out. And I get into those states. That's just a sign for me. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm playing out keeping up with the Joneses, right? I'm in a 9 to 5 I fucking hate, or I'm surrounded by the people that I shouldn't be surrounded by with. And that, I think, is links to our previous points of sitting in your own space. And you're only going to get that and understand and be able to dissect and decipher that code if you've sat in your own space, figured out who the fuck you are.
Yeah. And that's what therapy is. And that's why I love therapy. That's why I love being a therapist, right? Being a psychotherapist, I get to hold that space, and people come to me and they're like, I'm here. I mean, more often people have reasons, but sometimes people come to me and they're like, I think I just need to talk to somebody. And I'm like, oh, I love it when people come to me with that. They're just like, I just need to talk to somebody. And I'm like, okay, let's start unraveling you, because you're so wound up with the shoulds and the coulds and the woulds and the maybes that you've become so misaligned with who you are and what you want, that when I ask you, who are you? Most people can't answer. When I ask people, what do you want? Most people can't answer me. That's interesting. That's really interesting.
Who are you?
Who am I? Oh, goddess. I'm a goddess. That's who I fucking am. I am a goddess. I am a badass bitch. I am a kind human, though, and I am a nurturing person. I love very deeply, very passionately. I also love to read. I'm a person who loves to move her body. I recently got into fitness over the past 2 years. I do like CrossFit now. I lift shit over my head. Yeah, I do. My ass looks amazing. Okay. I like look at my butt in the mirror now every day. I'm like, this was not here 2 years ago. I'm like, this is hi. Like, it's so cute. And even now, because in the past 6 months, I've had some life stuff. So I've put on a little bit of weight in the past 6 months, and now I'm getting back to myself. But, even with my booty is a little bit extra fluffy right now. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I want to lose it. Like, I'm like, I don't like, do you have to go? Like, some of this I wouldn't mind toning up, but like, does this have to go? I love my butt. Oh my God, I love my butt. Who else am I? I'm a woman. I'm a friend. I'm a sister. I'm a dog mother. I'm a godmother. I'm a curious cat. I'm a magnificent, magnetic human. I'm a person who strives for peace, who loves the balance of power shared equitably and equally. I am a feminist. I am a sex positive intersectional feminist. I am so many things. And I am none of those things and all of those things all at once. That's who the fuck I am.
It's that bit right there that fucks me up, because I fucking love it. You're all of it and you're none of it. And once you start to understand that, then you start to understand yourself and understand life. We are everything and nothing at the same time. We mean nothing. Snap your fingers and take us off the planet, nothing happens. Like within the space of 2 weeks, or if you've got close families around you, a few years, no one gives a shit anymore. Right? But also you have everything in you. Like, you're the same things that make you up, make the universe up. You have the capability to open up the doors in your mind to go in so many different spaces, right? Life is short, but life is long. You can live 100 different lives in this lifetime, and the only person that's keeping you in that box or in that room is yourself.
Oh Lord, absolutely. Snaps. Yes. Absolutely. That's it. That's the shit right there. That's the thing. And so many people, when I ask them, who are you? Especially when I work with my women, it's like, who are you? Well, I'm a mom. I'm like, nobody gives a fuck if you're a mom. So quite honestly, I don't care if you're a mom. That has nothing to do with why you're here. Right? Well, I'm a dad. I'm like, that's nice. Then go talk to your kids then. No, you are here in therapy with me. Who are you? You, not who are you to everyone else. Who are you to yourself? That's what I do. That's the work that I do. That's the work I love doing.
So many
and
people.
That's where magic comes in, Sorry. Go on, please.
No, I was just going to say, so many people define themselves from the title, right? I get in trouble a lot, in the sense of I've been fired 6 times, right? I can't really. Can I work for people? I'm going to say no, right? I'll work with you. I won't work for you. Like, if you say, Alex, do this. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll do that. But I'll also observe, in the sense of, I will take Mount Everest and put it in your back garden for you, because I respect you as a human being, and I will respect everything that you've done in this relationship that we've created between us. But also, like, I don't believe anything that you say to me. I believe everything that you do and show me. So if you show me something different than you say, I don't give a shit what badge or title you've got or what fucking crown is on your head. Like, that's just not going to happen. So I get in trouble a lot for not respecting the hierarchy. But the
oh, fuck the hierarchy. Fuck the hierarchy is all I got to say about that.
Honestly,
fuck
man,
authority and fuck the hierarchy.
I say, if I ever meet the Queen, I'll be the first one to say cunt in front of her, because, like, it doesn't. I'm like, listen, love, I respect you, and I respect that you're the fucking Queen, and respect everyone to their absolute eyeballs, right? Probably more than you fucking deserve and more than anybody else will. But I ain't gonna treat you no different. Like, that's a non-negotiable. That's a given. And if you're not okay with that, then I'll go hang out with my people. No problem. But the amount of times that people define themselves with that fucking title, I ask people that I coach, like, the entire business model is bridging the gap between mental and physical health, right? And when I coach with kind of one-on-one, you send out some questions or whatever, and one of them's like, how's your mental health and all that? And like, I thought you were going to make programs. So yeah, man, but it's like 10%. Like, the rest of my time is pretty much counseling you and like HR, you know, like making sure, like, I don't know, your head is above water and you're not drowning. Because if you were drowning, like, it doesn't matter if you're going into the gym and doing some squats, right?
It
That's
doesn't
like,
matter. It doesn't matter.
that's a breadcrumb.
I love that you're doing mental health and fitness. I think that there could be so much more done. And I think you will see so much more done to bridge that gap. The number of times I've cried with like 100 pounds over my head, tears streaming down my face because of the exertion that the physical movement forces my body to do, and how much that moves the emotional space within me, especially someone like me who all I do all day long is just hold space for other people, right? So I hear, especially over the pandemic, I heard some of the worst stories of the worst. And you know, when I'm like a bar above my head, and then all of a sudden my whole body decides to have an emotional response, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, this isn't the time, because I can't just, like, I can't drop this or else I'm gonna hurt my spine. So like, hold on a second, right? And I love that you're doing that, because I think I would love to see more space created for emotions and like physical fitness. I would love to see that. I would love to see, like, with the warm-ups and like the stretch outs, you know, having conversations, right? Like, where's your head at today? What are you thinking about today? What are we moving through your body today? Right. And then afterwards, kind of having like a checkout, right? So being like, okay, how you feeling? How you feeling about that part of you? How are you feeling about your own self, your own ability right now? You know, my trainer he learned quite quickly, because I didn't even recognize when I started doing like this CrossFit style functional fitness stuff, you know, that this was going to happen. I was just like, I want to get fit. I want to be strong. I want to be a strong woman. It's never about losing weight for me. It's always about, I want to be strong. That's what fitness is for me. I want to be strong. I want to be able to lift shit, and I want nobody to be able to fuck around with me. Like, that's just, that's my intention for it. Whatever that looks like. Yeah. Whatever that looks like in my body. Cool. Like, perks. But that was always was my thing. I like the idea of being strong, because no one else is ever going to be strong enough for me. Everyone will try, and, you know, anyways, we won't go into that. But quite quickly like after the first couple weeks, like I remember like just being on the mat and like not being able to get up, because I'm having like a full-on fucking breakdown in the middle of the gym. And I was like, what is going on right now? Like, what? I was not expecting that. So then like I had to have like a talk with my trainer after. He's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I think so. But I think this is like going to be a thing. So if you see me with tears down my face, just don't fucking talk to me. Don't say anything. Pretend I'm not there. I'm fine. You're just going to have to allow me to take my space and feel whatever it is that I'm feeling, that sometimes I don't even recognize what it is. I'm just going to feel it, especially if I can't name it. And then I'll catch up on the next run, you know? And that was a really big conversation that I had to have with my own trainer about that, because he was like, why is she crying? What did I do? Are you hurt? Like, at first he's like, are you hurt? And I'm like, I am not hurt. I am processing the fact that 3 women just disclosed their rape to me this week, and I don't know what to do with all of that fucking energy. So that's what's happening right now. Thanks so much. And then after that, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna let you just have your experience. Just don't hurt yourself.
This is the thing, right? This is my argument of the difference between a trainer and a coach, and what you described as a coach, because I got a quote that I say when I coach coaches and help people and coach the athletes that come through, whether it's everyday athletes or fucking internationals, it doesn't matter. It's like, I'll teach you the movement, but I'll coach the individual. Right? The movement doesn't change, but the individual does. And that individual can change day to day, situation to situation. I change, you're going to change. And then the day changes, the time changes, like environment changes,
My
the world
body
fucking
changes.
body changes. Like, you name it, everything is organically adapting, growing, shaping, dying, decaying, changing. You're like, okay, this is a lot. I was like, all right, Kyle's just come in. What am I going to do? Okay, first of all, I'm going to say hello. All right.
Yeah.
But before I say that, I'm going to assess how you've walked through that fucking door. Right. Because if you've walked through in a certain way, I'm like, cool. She probably needs ABC today. All right. Needs the drill sergeant, the I don't give a fuck, do your shit because we're going to talk about this when you're done. Or we walk through and you're like, okay, cool, you're going to need X, Y, Z today. You're going to be like, I just want you to move today. Okay. I was like, I know on the board it says 50 pounds. I want you to use 35 pounds today. All right. And it's like, let's
go slower, more intentionally. It's going to have the same effect.
For sure. And it's through learning the individual and all the little intricacies of people, which is the difficult part. That's it's so important. And I think for too long we've spoke and addressed physical health and mental health as two separate things. I'm like, we have something called a neck, right? That combines the two together. I don't get it. Like what's going on? And exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I told you the story, but quickly I'll kind of jump into it as the reason for this, right? The podcast. I've coached in like 18 different places, 17, 18 different places around the world, right? And literally like thousands of people, from people in a fucking wheelchair, kids, elderly, bunged up, fully able, international, youth Olympic games, you name it, probably done it. And most of the time when people come to me, I'm like, I see you 5-6 days a week, right? Doing really well, progressing, everything's going absolutely splendid. You're like, cool, we are nailing it. I'm super helping this person. Everything's fantastic. I'm the fucking nuts. Let's go. And then they come back in and Alex, can I talk to you? I'm like, yeah, man, I can talk to you. And like, oh, I'm really not doing well. I was like, what do you mean? Like, you're doing awesome. Like, you got a handstand push-up recently. You've PR'd on your fucking split jerk or whatever it is, right? I was like, no, like, I think I got an alcohol problem, or I'm really struggling with my divorce. And yesterday I slipped my wrist, or I put my head in a noose somewhere. I'm like, wait, hold on a minute. We're helping you every single day, right? Every single day. And you're doing well and you're progressing, but you're still fucked. And, that paired with whatever was going on in my head at the time as well, I was like, I've got to fucking do something about this. So I brought it to all the owners of the gym over like 6 years. I kind of, not the idea of the podcast, but the idea of we needed to help people's mental health because people are fucked, right? And everyone told me to go fuck myself. They were like, this isn't our job. This is going to take too much time and energy away from you. You're going to provide a worse service when you're actually on the physical side. That should cost them more money, right? It's going to cost me more money because I'll have to pay you a little bit more. And I'm like, I'll do it for free. I was like, nah, that's not our thing. Push them to a GP. So I played with the idea, right? And I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. Like, if no one's going to do it, I'm going to do it. I wrote some, like, I'm a bit of a poet, right?
That.
And I wrote something
Are
down.
You? Yeah, I saw that on your Instagram. Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. So I wrote something in the sense of like, like if you give me a gun, I'll point it at me so the whole world can be free. And that came from, okay, cool. Like, if there's going to be problems in the world, I'll hold it up because no one else is fucking doing it, right? And that was just kind of my immature, very passionate yet hurting mind at the time. And I was like, cool, let's start doing things for people's mental health. And then it kind of bred into this, and then we start talking about all the things that kind of go into it. But it's crazy how conservative and fixed minded owners of gyms in the fitness industry are, because they're like, oh, we only do fitness. I'm going to get you a fucking 6-pack or lose you 5 pounds or whatever. I was like, it's got jack shit to do with that. People come to me and they're like, I want to PR my mile time, or I want to go masters nationals in powerlifting, or I want a bigger chest, or I want to look good in a bikini or whatever. I'm like, fantastic. And then you get to know the individual, and usually because they're struggling with a lot of things. You're like, cool, let's kind of like, you know, fix the broken leg rather than the little scratch upon it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I remember at the height of the pandemic, during the pandemic, I actually offered that to everyone at my gym. I offered them like discounted one-on-one sessions because I was having these things, and then like I'm working out with people, and then they can see that I'm having these experiences. So, and it was like a little boutique gym, so you like actually knew the people that you were in the same room with, and yeah, and I offered that, and a few people like took me up on it. A few people were like, "Yeah, no, this makes sense, right? Mental health and fitness makes sense." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, because I'm doing it right now." like in this, I don't know how nobody else has come to this conclusion. Like how I can't be the first person to put these two things together to be like, this actually makes the most sense, right? I mean, you see it a lot with somatic therapy. So somatic therapy as in like the movement, right? Feeling your stuff. So people will do it like dance therapies or art therapies and that type of thing. But like, I would love to see like a functional fitness mental health like therapy program. You know what I mean? Like let's lift shit and talk about stuff.
So I've got something in the works. It's going to take me like 2 years.
I'm so excited.
I'll send you a message when this recording thing's done. Because it's actually really fucking cool. Kind of in a way, very little bridges into your scene. But I'm super pumped about it. I agree there should be more shit out there. I think, which avenue will I go down? It's very male dominated, the fitness industry, notoriously, and you're still breaking the stigmas that come with that. So I think, you know, how do you change the world? You change yourself, right? Yeah. And I think it just takes time because those individuals are going to have to do the work with themselves and sit in their own space before they allow that space for anybody else to come into, right? So especially for me, like when I like working all day, like I honestly need like time. I need to go train. I was like, don't fucking talk to me, let me train. I was like, why is that? Because I'll come across like an asshole. I'll come across super short. I'll probably not make any sense. I swear way too much anyway, but that's just what it is, right? And I'll just be tired and stressed out, and my eyes will probably be a bit blurry because I've been working all day, and I'm like, I just need to fucking dig some demons up, punch them in the face, and then bury them again. And that to me is training, and most people it is because it's immediate, right? Like if I pick up a heavy bar on my back, it's gonna be like, I feel like I'm gonna shit out my spine. I was like, okay, I might need to like concentrate, right? It's immediate.
Yes, I really love how the Brits say asshole. Can you say it again? I just love it. It's like ASMR to me.
Asshole.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. There's something about how the Brits say asshole that I love. It's totally ASMR. Sorry, guys, this is a side note, sidebar, but you said it a couple times, and I was like, I'm just in it. I'm like, when you say it, I'm just like, I don't know. It's like, you know, you watch those like satisfying videos like on Instagram and like people with like slime. Like I just need a bunch of Brits to just say asshole over and over again. And I'm just gonna be like, this is it. Well, this is my ASMR.
This, like what I've noticed though is like with Mancunian, like being from Manchester, like the way we phonetically say the alphabet is quite low, quite different. Sometimes it can come across quite aggressive. Like, so for example, like the letter U, right? Phonetically we say oh, right, which is quite like harsh and low. And then if you add in like a lower voice, like myself, when I say the word fuck, right, it sounds instantly like I'm trying to punch you in the face, and I'll be like, don't fucking do that. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying it normally, like whether it's tongue in cheek or just normal speech, and people automatically think I'm getting like super aggressive, which then in turn makes me aggressive because I'm like, I'm not being aggressive, and then it just escalates. You know?
Yeah, when you say it, it does sound like you're saying being aggressive, even though I know you're not being aggressive. I'm like, no, I totally get what you're saying. Yeah. I totally get it.
It's weird. It took till I was like 22, maybe, to like I was in the South working, and I coached this lad who was like a fucking English major or some shit, right? And was like, Alex, yeah, like super soft spoken, super lovely bloke, Max, right? And like you're gonna know him, but anyway, his name was Max. I'm sure it still is. Um, and was like, how do you say, like, phonetic alphabet? I was like, what do you mean? Like, he was like, oh, how do you say these letters? And I was like, oh, and kind of went through it. And he was like, interesting. That's why you speak wrong. I was like, what are you talking about? I don't fucking speak wrong. Like, fuck you. And he was like, no. So, like, it's this sound. Where you're taught this sound. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. We're in the same country. And like the basis of how we speak the same language, the sounds that we're supposed to make out of our fucking mouths are completely different. I was like, this is odd.
Mm-hmm. Well, English is like the bastard global language, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like English is just like the culmination of like what everybody has made it needing to be honest with you, you know what I mean? I think English is the worldwide language, so it's like it's what everybody needs it to be, and I don't think that there any longer is like a proper English language, that it just people can't even spell it anymore because we're too busy shorthanding our texts,
Oh, legit. That's why most people in Britain usually do really shit in English in school, because they'll assess you on like proper English. And we don't even speak it, right? We don't speak it in class when we're like saying things. And if you've got to like actually say things, you don't speak proper English, right?
No.
And you never write it anyway. So it's like, okay, if you're assessing me in this skill, I'm not going to have said skill. So I'm going to fail said grade, right? I was like, an Englishman can't pass an English test. I was like, well, fuck you, I'm a poet.
That's and that's yeah. An Englishman can't pass an English test. Fuck you, I'm a poet. That's Shakespeare shit right there. Is what that is.
Well, that's actually I was kind of a reference to an occasion. I was out at a bar, there was maybe 2 drinks in, but I met these new people that was like friends of a friend, and one of them was very, very intellectual, very good in academia, and was going to go sit his PhD. I'm like, congratulations, brilliant. I'm just there to have a good time, like kind of chat some shit, as I'm good at. And he ends up ripping into me because of something I said, or I couldn't read something off the board game that we were playing, right? And my reading's really not good. And like, he took it a little bit too far. And I was just like, fuck you. Is anybody else published? Anybody?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, that's right. Sit the fuck back down. I was like, this dyslexic motherfucker is published. You're not. Like,
right? Well, I mean, there's I think there's just such people, everybody likes to know something, right? Everybody likes to have, many people like to have like a genius in something. And I've come to discover why. And my theory is that everybody likes to have a genius in something, or like has a pull towards it, because people are sexiest when they're expressing their genius.
Why do you think? Because they're more confident in it?
Yeah. Because when you are in your genius, you're in your element, right? So that's why when you see people like speak on stage who are meant to be public speakers, right? You're like, I don't care what you're saying, I'm buying it, and like I'll sit on your face at the same time, right? Like, sounds great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like a chef, like a proper chef, right? Like Gordon Ramsay can like fucking take the piss out of anyone, but like I still want to be friends with him. You know what I mean? Like I still want to like hang out with him because he's a fucking genius, and he's not a particularly attractive man, but I still want to sit on his face. You know what I mean? Like it's
I don't personally know what you mean, but yes.
Right? It's when you look at somebody who you're like, I don't know why I'm attracted to you, but I am. And it's often because that person is in their element. They're often expressing their genius.
Yes.
So when you are in your element and expressing your genius, don't worry about what you look like. Don't worry about what you say, because you are your sexiest. You are your most magnetized at that time. And that's my theory on that.
Passion is sexy. Like someone gets fucking irated about something, super hyped up, and they're like ready to go, run through a brick wall, punch a baby type stuff. You're like, you do your thing, you know. I'm just gonna not literally punch a baby. Disclaimer. please don't go running around slapping babies and then be like, oh, Alex Smith told me to do this because I'm passionate about something. I was like, that's,
yeah.
no, don't throw me under the bus like that, guys. But you know, like it's infectious. It fires you up, right? But also like it's so entertaining to watch. You're just like, this is beauty right there. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how they're doing it. And quite frankly, I'm not even interested. But I'm just watching this person do their thing and I'm like, you go.
But my dick moved a little, right? Like it's that's
speaking
what
to
it is. Yeah.
You know, it's like, knock, I'm still here. You're like, I know, calm down, you know. I'm in a theater full of 250 people. I'm not whipping you out and fucking playing bing bong right now. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's the toilets. I was like, fuck, leave me alone. Like it's Peter Pan. Joking. That was a complete sidetrack. That never happened. Don't ask me about the story.
That's okay. Ask him, team. Ask him.
No, it never happened, honestly. I did go to a fancy dress one time as Peter Pan.
Did you?
The
did you wear like the tights and everything?
Yeah. Of course.
With the little chapeau as well, with like the cute little hat with the feather in it.
Of course, bow and arrow and all sorts. Yeah.
Oh,
the problem is
for you?
So this is my issue. Right. Okay. It's going to sound quite funny. Tight things on the bottom when you're swinging coconuts is rather uncomfortable. Right? I'm 5'10" on a good day, you know what I mean? I'm like slap bang in the middle. Like, you know, it's you know, it's halfway. I wouldn't I wouldn't be like, holy shit, have you seen this? Right? But it's I mean, I wouldn't swap it in for a newer model. Like I wouldn't complain. But the kettlebells below them are a fucking issue. Right? They're a fucking issue. Like, honest to God,
I could not imagine.
I sit on these fuckers.
Oh my God.
On a regular basis. I sit down and I've got to pull them up, right? So I'm not like in the way.
I never even thought of that. I never even thought of that.
It's a problem. And I squat. I'm a weightlifter.
Yeah.
So 5 days a week, I'm doing some sort of squat. Right? So I got to walk like I'm waddling.
Yeah. All the time.
All the time.
Because you gotta make room.
Legit. And it's a hot day. Like,
yeah, because they don't want your body. They're moving away from your body.
100%.
Right? Like you said, swinging coconuts, like literally.
Like legitimately, you know, I'm white, so they're basically snowballs. Like if I could detach them from me, you know, I could just like launch them and knock someone out. It'd be like a fucking ice ball. Like it's an issue. I'm telling you, it's an issue.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like you know what? I could never imagine having testicles. I could never imagine. Like, I can't even imagine. I'm sitting here with all my thickness and I'm like, if I had testicles in between this thickness.
That's why you've got a man spread.
That's why the man spread.
Well,
the testicles. But some of y'all, okay, but first of all, some of you are a little bit too forgiving as to how much you need to spread in order.
Well, like scratching their kneecap and saying their fucking bell ends are itchy. Yeah. I mean, we've all been there.
Yeah.
I've done that in school, right? You got a really attractive teacher, like, oh miss, my fucking bell end's itching your knee. You know what I mean? She ain't dumb, lad. I know, like you think you're a lot smarter than you are at fucking 13. But anyway, like you're fucking hung like an elephant.
Yeah, Jesus. No kidding. At 13, ooh.
I'm hanging like a wizard's sleeve. Anyway,
Armadillo turtleneck, like
Huh?
what's happening here? Armadillo's turtleneck.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Fuck. What was I saying? I don't know. I've lost my train of thought.
That's all right. We got really into testicles for a hot minute there. We got really into testicles. We got like I just couldn't imagine two little kettlebells in between my legs. That's all I'm saying. Like I like now that I'm more just kind of putting it into context, I get why men walk funny. I get it.
Here's another one. And honestly, I learned this like last year because I had a good mate of mine on the podcast. And I think I actually got it recorded too. It's brilliant. And I was like, look, when people sit with their legs crossed, the 90-degree one where your legs kind of come across and your knee goes out.
Yeah.
That's the only one I can do because when you do the other one where it kind of goes one slat on the other, for years, I've been like, I can't do this, right? Because I can't even get close, right?
Yeah.
It's just seriously painful. And you'll kind of look around and I see all the lads doing it. I'm like, is there a different technique? Can you take them off and fucking stick them around the side, put them in your pocket? What's going on here? Like, have I just got like, is there a problem with me or something? So I was chatting with my mate and he was sat like that. I was like, right, before I get into this fucking shit, I need to understand this. How are you sat like that? Because for the entire time of my life, I've never been able to do it. And I still don't understand why. I don't walk up to lads and just be like, where's your balls when you sit like that? And he was like, I'm going to answer the question. I was like, go on. It's not that big. I was like, right. I appreciate the honesty.
Right.
So there's a little FYI for ladies. If a dude is sat with his legs kind of, I don't really know how to describe crossed, but like kind of feet together and like
proper
facing
crossed.
forward.
Yeah.
He best be really good with his mouth.
Yeah. They've got the space. That's why they can come closer. But if he is sitting with his leg on a 90, it's because he needs room.
It could just all be in the balls though.
In the what? Oh yeah, that's true. Because
he might not there might not be a ruler down there, but it could just be coconuts.
but coconuts are okay because you can use coconuts, like especially in doggy style, you can use the coconuts, and if you get enough of a swing, they hit the clit. I'm just saying. Turn
that temperature up in your apartment.
Yeah.
Make sure it's fucking hot. Put a towel on her back so you're not just dripping everywhere. So you keep the romance alive.
Absolutely, and just work the swing. Just work the testicle swing.
So I've coached in the CrossFit scene for years, right?
Today.
100%. Here's some techniques, Steve. Right, and honestly, the amount of times I make a fucking sex reference in the gym and people get it like this. Right? If I try and go super technical, super like dumbed down or whatever, they don't understand the fucking word I'm saying. If I'm like, I want you to fuck this kettlebell, they're like, bam, I got it, coach. Don't worry. I'm like, see, like, what you got to do is learn your people. Fuck the kettlebell.
Fuck the kettlebell. It. Fuck the kettlebell. I'm going to use that when I do my workout tomorrow morning. I'm going to think about fucking my kettlebell. I'm going to be like, I'm doing my.
That kettlebell is going to fly above your head.
I gotta be careful. I got a window in front of me.
Yeah. Don't let go of
I did that today. What are the Russian? Are they Russian?
Well,
Russian kettlebell swings, the ones where you lift above your head? Yeah.
That's American.
Oh, the ones, okay, American. I had to do those today.
Should we say Canadian? Canadian kettlebell swings.
Fuck. What would a Canadian kettlebell? I'm gonna ask my trainer that. What would a Canadian, if this is the Russian and if this is the American, what's a Canadian kettlebell swing?
It's got to be some sort of maple syrup in there, right?
Yeah, right. Maple syrup and poutine. Like that's what it is.
Poutine. Oh, that is.
Have you been to Canada? You've traveled everywhere. Have you been to Canada?
No, like I'm super fucking. Yeah. I really, really want to come over. Like just the whole thing. I'm fascinated by the entire country. Like, I really want to do a road trip. Like I lived with. I call her my sister, but she's not. I lived with a lady in Auckland, and she's from Manitoba. She's currently back over there, like seeing her family. But and she wants to move over to BC. She's gonna come back and go back again. Long life story. But shout out to Brie if she's listening. But I'm like, yeah, let me know when you move over. I'll pop over. Me being me, I'll have one bag, right? I'll have like the clothes on my back and probably like, I don't know, maybe a spare t-shirt, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And my laptop, and then they'll be like,
Yes,
yeah, I'll be there. Kind of like, you know, cruise along. But there's fucking cool ass people in Canada, man.
Yeah. There's some really cool people here. That's why I love it here. I love it here. It's a giant country, and
Jesus.
you can be anywhere whoever you want to be and live anywhere. You can live on either ocean. You can live on 3 oceans, actually, if you really want it to be cold. You could go up north into the territories, and that's fucking freezing. Yeah, that's not how I live, but you could live on any ocean. You can live on a mountain. You can live on a bay. You can live where all they speak is French. You can live in where I live in Toronto, which is the most multicultural city in the world. So you can live here and like get access to the world literally outside your door.
Wow.
You can live in like small town. You can live in a forest. You can live on a lake. Like that's the cool thing about Canada is you can live on an ocean. You can live on a lake. You can live on a river. You can live on a mountain. You can live in a forest. You can there is just so much here. And then the people, Canada is my favorite country in the entire world. I haven't traveled extensively, but I've traveled enough to know that Canada is my favorite country in the entire world.
Every time I hear the name Canada, I just want to go, oh, Canada.
Yeah.
Like every time, like it's not me taking a piss, maybe tongue in cheek a little bit, but
a little bit.
You know, I don't know, man. Like, you know, I speak to a lot of people on this thing and met a few Canadians as well, face to face, and they've been some fucking cool ass people. And I like writing books, right? There's I keep on writing the poetry and all that shit. That does mental health side. Okay, that takes that side of what I want to do, but kind of create like a series of stories or for kids, so like kids books, but like really young, like yeah, it's still like kind of rhyming couplets, so it's interactive and it's kind of like a lot of big pictures and shit, but it's all of stories that I've done, right? So it's real life stories made into fiction, right? And then whenever
I love that.
Yeah, whenever the kid's older, whether it's my kid, whether it's someone else's kid, whether it's some random person I'm talking to, it doesn't matter. I'll be like, do you want to know the real story behind it? Like, okay, go on. I was like, well, that person's actually that person, and that person was actually this person, and that person's me, and this is what happened and whatever. But one of the books I really want to make, and it's going to take a long ass time, is Fascinated by Culture, right? And there's a lot of culture back home. You know, Britain gets a bad rep because it's like, it enforced its own culture on all around the world. I'm like, leave that conversation for another day, right? I'm like, I want to go to all these places around the world, and I think there's a lot of wisdom laced within stories, right? And these stories are usually very old, and it's usually embedded in the culture. And my mom is actually Nigerian, right? So she was born out there and lived out there for 7 years before getting sent to the UK. Like her family's from Manchester, but she was born out there. So she's white as I am before you ask. Otherwise, I'd be that. Like from a stalk, right? I would be the
albino. Yeah.
Motherfucker. Have you seen my eyes? They're blue, not red. Look at them, motherfucker.
I know. Sorry, for everybody listening, Alex and I are friends now, so I'm allowed to fuck around with him a little
that's
bit.
fine. You know, that's fine. I gave her permission to rip me to pieces. I'll start crying. Oh my God. And then we'll just hug it out.
Of a therapist.
Virtually.
Yeah.
It's a safe space. Wow, you're just hugging yourself. That's embarrassing. No, I'm joking.
I mean, you know, you could have accepted it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay, I'd say that. But go to these places, right? And learn from the culture, learn from the people, these quote unquote ancient ways. So I grew up, my mom's always like with some West African influence and like proverbs and all that shit. And okay, cool, being over here and learning things from the Pacific Islands and Maori and all that. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, wouldn't it be really cool and break down barriers if you could stick it all in one piece of literature, right? So my idea is, over a very long period of time, is to go to these places and actually see the people and learn from them and kind of pick these things up and then write about them. So a kid, right, rather than going, because especially now everything's online, right, and it's only going to get faster and faster, rather than they're only ever seeing one thing, right? I grew up in the largest council estate in Europe, right? You're only ever going to see one thing. Everyone's in the shit. Everyone's in poverty. Everyone's carrying a knife. You think the world is shit, right? That's the only thing that you see, right?
Yeah, totally.
But if you can pick up this book, turn a page, and be like, wow, this like ancient teaching from Samoa, turn the page. This ancient teaching from Nigeria, turn the page. This ancient teaching from the North fucking Pole, turn the page. This ancient teaching from like Peru, turn the page. And it just kind of goes around. And you can see how fucking similar us human beings are. We're similar in our differences, right? We're very, very, very different. But also, like, you break it all down, like the core is exactly the same. And I just think it'd be really rad. So that was a really long explanation of, I want to go to the North Pole.
Oh, okay, cool. That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you.
I'll be camouflaged.
Wow. That's so fun.
Yeah.
The North Pole.
I want to go to that sign.
I don't know if you're allowed. Yeah, you're only allowed to go like so far, I think, because all the rest of it is like an army, like it's like blocked off. I don't think you're like, you know what I mean? I think some of it, that's why there's so many conspiracy theories as to like what's actually at the North Pole, because people actually can't go to the North. It's either the North or the South Pole or both. And you can't actually go to the very tip of the world, because it's like army base or something. Like you're actually not allowed to, for whatever reason.
I'll find a way.
Where they're hiding all the aliens.
I'll find a way.
Yeah, you will.
I'll get invited by someone or something, you know, like I can usually sweet talk my way into some things, you know, like
yeah.
You just get real good with your mouth in many ways. And, you know, next thing you know, you're in an army base in the North Pole, surrounded by a bunch of dudes. It's like, whoa, hold on a minute. Like, I didn't sign up for this.
You said, I mean, you know, be careful how you use your mouth. That's all I'm saying. Just don't use it in all the ways and have a good time.
It gets you in a lot of trouble. I get fired a lot. Stop taking that out of the context.
Yeah. So many ways I could go with that. Yeah. There's so many places I could go with that. Alex, you're setting me up now at this point. You're just setting me up at this point.
Yes. I'm like following you around with like banana peels. Don't trip.
Never.
So
ever.
I'm real interested in this game.
Okay.
Do you need to pop off? I know this has been fucking forever.
No, I'm just
we can do a part 2.
We might have to, but hold on. Let me just double check to see what time my next patient is at.
No, you know, you get some downtime. We can do a part 2. Don't worry about it.
That's true. We got time. So we're good.
You sure?
Yeah, I got half an hour. 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Okay, cool. So going back into the sex game.
Okay. Always.
Realm. Whatever you want to call it. Space. We'll call it space.
We'll always come back to sex. Yeah, here for it.
I mean, yeah, like what are you gonna do? Like
Sex and weed.
Sex and weed. Oh, that's another good one. Yeah. So
yeah, sex and weed. That's my work. Sex and weed.
So I reserve the right to have no opinion on cannabis, right? Okay. Simply because I grew up in a country where it's illegal, right? Mm-hmm. So obviously I will not be doing it in a country that is illegal. I think
really? I think, is that what you just said? Were you being serious? Honestly, was that honest? Was that serious? What? Are you allowed to say otherwise? That you're not going to be doing cannabis in a country where it's illegal?
I've not touched it in New Zealand, and it's illegal here. I've not touched it in New Zealand. I think I've fucking
Cool.
smoked pot 4 times in my life, maybe. Drugs isn't my thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
that's fair.
I don't
That's
like
fair.
things going in my lungs. I 100% not do pills. Like, I grew up in the shit end of the stick, and I see the negative side from drugs rather than the positive
Mm-hmm.
side. But what I am really
Mm-hmm.
interested in is like quote unquote Eastern style medicine and herbal medicine. Um,
Mm,
and I will also do as a disclaimer is I tried CBD. That is legal in the UK, just the THC shit isn't.
nice.
Um,
Nice.
and I think it's phenomenal. I honestly think it's phenomenal. It's the only thing that cured at the time my insomnia. Like, I had really bad sleeping pattern. Like, my joints
Mm-hmm.
hurt all the time. It's the only thing that fixed that. But
Yeah.
what I'm very open minded, and I'm really interested in using cannabis to help things because it's a fucking weed. It's a plant, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about that because that's your expertise. I have no idea about it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, talk to me.
I love promoting cannabis. I'm also surprised that it's not legal in New Zealand, to be honest with you, because I
They
just
had a
find New Zealand to be
referendum.
such a. Did they? And it
Yeah,
didn't go through?
no, so um,
Nice.
they say something like 87% of the population has either tried it or is a regular user, right? Which is ridiculously high. However, it's a very like the middle aged and above a very, very conservative mindset. So like, oh no, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. I would rather buy my weed from a fucking drug dealer than actually go give my
Get
tax money to
regulated.
the government and create more jobs.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
It's
make any
just,
sense.
yeah. Because it is weird because the Prime Minister of New Zealand, like, she's amazing and she's super progressive. I mean, I thought for sure. So, okay, aside from that, but cannabis is legal in Canada. Thank goddess for that. It's now has been for a few years, which is even better. And then prior to that, it was legal medically for many years. And then prior to that, it was illegal, but that didn't stop anybody because Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Exactly. All every time. And I am a big proponent. So, as a psychotherapist, I can't prescribe medication, right? So, I'll talk to you about your medication, make recommendations for you to have conversations with your MD, right? Do those types of things. But I can't prescribe medication. So, what I prescribe, the medicine I prescribe, is the medicine that is accessible to all of us, right? Sunshine, outside, movement, and nutrition and pleasure. And we talk about that when we talk about medicine and movement medicine and food is medicine and all of that kind of stuff. And so one of the places that has brought me to has been the cannabis world. And I am a big pro cannabis supporter. Whether you want to use it or not, I think that there is a space and a place that cannabis will be used, and especially over the next 5 to 10 years, it will be very rare. I think that statement that you made about how 87%, like how, like even I am like, that's excessive. But I think in 5 to 10 years, that saying a statistic like that about how many people have used cannabis or have come into contact with it at least once, that will be accurate, because it is going to be, and it already is in everything. Even my 94-year-old grandmother who broke her shoulder, was a shoulder, like collarbone. She fell, unfortunately, and she hurt herself. I bought her a bottle of CBD and she uses it topically. Like, she won't consume it, but right. So I'm like, even my 94-year-old grandmother now has access or has used cannabis, which is wild to think about, because I grew up in a very not pretty conservative, but like Eurocentric, Catholic home, patriarchal, that kind of thing. So like, if you even said drugs in my home, like, you'd be getting a smack. Like, that's not what happens, right? So then to now be a cannabis educator, it's really interesting because now I'm supporting people, women and men, all genders, to use cannabis in their lifestyle in a way that makes sense. right? I'm not big on like, here's just a joint, like figure it out. Like that's not what we're doing. This isn't the cannabis of the 90s. You know what I mean? Like this isn't what we're doing here.
Yeah.
This is like, how can we incorporate this as part of our lifestyle to be supplementary and complementary to it? Right. So CBD is huge. And you are seeing CBD in the fitness world, beauty, like the moisturizer that I use for under my eyes is CBD infused, right? Like I love it. You see it in healthcare. You're seeing it, right? You're seeing it. They actually just released 2 studies this year, one from Oregon State University and one from the University of Waterloo here in Ontario, about COVID and how cannabis could actually be one of the therapeutics that is developed in order to support healing from COVID, which is really, really neat. The University of Waterloo study, which has been peer reviewed, they're just kind of waiting for like their big rubber stamp of like, yay, it's okay, right? Demonstrated that CBD actually shortens the symptomology of the COVID experience. Wow. CBD can shorten COVID for you. Like that's fucking crazy, right? So like I made this little video about it and I was like, see, I told you, everybody should be smoking weed. Like, and that's the other thing is that you no longer have to smoke weed.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Now you can eat it. Now you can apply it topically. Right. I talk to people about how to make their own CBD and THC lube so you can have sex with it. Sex and cannabis go together like peanut butter and jelly, baby. Oh my God, it's so good. Like
talk to me about that I've never fucking heard before. Hold on, let me get my cat too. Like she's like,
yeah,
come here.
I know Arthur's still back here. He's let me see your kitty. Oh my God, stop.
Here you go. Come on, what's this? There you go.
Oh my goodness, it's like a little calico. Oh, she's beautiful. Look at her looking at you with the most love. Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you, this thing is my best fucking friend in the world. I love this thing. I'll send you a lot. I think 99% of my camera roll is of this little thing. And I'm an animal person, right? I think when it's all said and done, I'm going to be coaching for free and looking after animals, and that's going to be the rest of my life, right? I just need to do a few things before that, but literally like that. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say you'll have to meet my best friend. So she's she just finished her certification to be a dog masseuse.
Wow. Cuddling dogs the whole day.
Sounds great. Yeah, so she's gonna buy a van, she's gonna fix it up, she's gonna put like her table in the back of the van, and like she's going to be a traveling dog masseuse. That's going to be her life.
I'm like on the trigger of pulling for buying a van and living in it and just kind of traveling with the kitty.
Right?
Honestly.
Yeah, I love that for you. But like
the communication with this thing, like I'll put a tea in a bowl, right? As in like food. And I'll put the biscuits in the bowl and I'll say, wait, and she sits down. And then I'll double tap the bowl and she'll go for it. Right, if I ask her for a kiss, she'll come in and like nut me on the mouth. Like it's honestly, I'm going to bed, and she like walks into the bedroom and like sits down, waits for me to get in bed. Like it's ridiculous. It's crazy.
Oh my goodness, you've met your familiar, love.
Legit, like guardian angel type shit. There you go. See, look, still staring at me.
Her, she is. I can hear her purring too. She is just obsessed with you.
Yeah, I know.
Look at your little
what can
nose.
I say? Pussy likes me.
I'm an A.
Hey. And you can set that one to the fucking bank.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to. That was great. That was excellent. Well, I have a wiener dog, and he's back here hanging out behind me.
That's no coincidence.
And it's no coincidence that I have a wiener dog.
No.
Because what can I say? Dick likes me. So,
hey now.
Hey.
what were you saying? Marijuana and lube and marijuana and sex?
Yeah,
like that?
Yeah, let's get back to weed and sex. Cannabis is a medicine, but as a medicine, it is also an enhancer. Like it can enhance many things. THC has this really beautiful power to be able to make things feel better, more euphoric, right? That's why I love it when people come to me, and if they are, battling with depression or anxieties or even neurodivergences like ADHD, for example, cannabis can be one of your best friends in those situations because of the elevating effects of THC and the calming effects of CBD and how it works. And sex, right? How we talked about earlier, sex is just a way to activate a portal of energy. So if that's what sex is, cannabis is like the wood that the door is made out of to the portal, like cannabis, when it comes to sex, has helped so many people. So from a trauma informed lens, right, the number of women, for example, who have experienced sexual assaults, and any other types of traumas, especially in their pelvic areas, right? We can do many things, right? Pelvic floor physiotherapy. We can start doing, we call it de-armoring practices and exercises. And then one of the other recommendations that we make is to start to include cannabis. So whether that's applying CBD topically to your vulva area, and then, massaging yourself, getting yourself used to being able to open up a little bit again, right? Because there's many women and people with vaginas out there who experience pain upon penetration for many different reasons. So CBD can allow people to be able to receive again. Wow. THC, when you use it topically or if you ingest it, right, can actually help elevate and expand your orgasmic experience, right? When you apply THC topically to your vulva area, it actually helps draw more blood and makes you a little bit more sensitive and a little bit more tingly down there, which is really lovely.
Wow.
So that's why I love cannabis, because it can elevate you, it can relieve you, it allows people, so many people, it allows them to be present for the experience of sex. And now I'm speaking to so many people, so many athletes and people in fitness about how they use CBD so that they can be present for their workouts, right? Cannabis, I find, there's this like misnomer that like cannabis, stoners and like, lazy and like don't do anything and it's a gateway drug and everything. And that's just quite honestly just not the case. I think that was just like the war on drugs, US propaganda bullshit that really did that, right? Like cannabis is not cocaine. So it's very different. And cannabis, from a therapeutic sense, has allowed people to feel things that they've never been able to before, to speak about things that they've never been able to before, to unlock things that they've never been able to before. So much so here in Canada that cannabis is not only legalized, but now Health Canada, so our like health governing body here in the government, is looking at potentially legalizing psilocybin, which is magic mushrooms, because of the science demonstrating how it unlocks and allows people from a therapeutics perspective to heal, especially people with pain, PTSD, and any other types of severe traumas. It's really neat.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Like the thing is,
really
like
neat.
it makes sense. It grows on the planet. It's here naturally. We are natural things. We have somehow evolved into this thing that we're living in now. And so has that, plant, mushroom, fungi, whatever the fuck it is. It's like, okay, fine. You don't have to go pull the trigger and go, I'm going to legalize this. Just study it. Figure it out. See the positives and the negatives, the pros and the cons, and be like, then you've got a little bit more ammunition in your arsenal to be able to make a decision, right? Too many people in the sex scene, and also as in towards the sex scene and also towards like cannabis, are super fixed minded and nah, we can't do that, we can't do this, we can't do that. I'm like, I've had a lot of people recently on relationships, right? And the whole non-traditional relationships is again something that really interests me because it's something so different, and again something that I just don't feel. I'm like, that doesn't do anything for me, but that doesn't mean I can't learn about it, right?
Mhm.
And in that scene, we're too traditional. It's like, no, it's a man and a woman, and that's it. And now it's okay, it's two people, and that's it. You're like, well, okay, it can be 3 people, 4 people, like it can be whatever the fuck people
10
want,
people, whole
right?
room.
10
Yeah.
people, yeah. I mean, fuck, do what you want,
Yeah. Yeah.
as
Live
long
your
as you're
best
getting off.
life.
Always take the silver medal.
Yeah. Wait, what does that mean? What does that mean? Always take the silver medal for men?
Finish second.
Yeah, finish second. Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
100%.
I'm gonna use that.
Always
I'm
take
gonna
the
use
silver
that. I
medal.
like that a lot.
Yeah, and then
Always take
you
the silver medal.
you can always rock up and give them one of those little plastic gold medals to a lady, and
Yeah.
she's like, "What the fuck is this?" And it's like, "You finished first."
Hey.
But
You're
yeah.
a winner, baby.
Hey,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. I love that though. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna talk about that in my men's program. I think
Wow.
that's a great I think
I've been saying that since school. Like, honestly, I've been like dropping some of the bullshit from since school. Always take the silver medal.
Always take the silver medal.
Or bronze. I mean, or it could be like a fucking 5th place trophy, I guess. Like, I don't know, do your thing, but finish last. Come last.
We do not judge you. At the party, finish last. That's just what we're saying here.
Yeah. Or the festival. Fuck, who knows? Maybe there's fucking thousands of people. Just be the last one to vacate the building. No, I can't.
Do that? I couldn't. But like it, I mean, so I did one time work a swingers cruise one time. That was fun.
Wow. You did what?
I worked it. So they hired me to do workshops
Wow.
For the week on the cruise, which was pretty cool. But the cruise was commissioned by a swingers company. So like a worldwide swingers company, and they do these cruises all over and like trips and stuff all over the world. So they hired me, contracted me to do workshops all week, which is pretty neat. So
wow.
that was an experience. That was, I couldn't even have sex with anybody. I was like, I just want to, like, I'm just watching all of you. Like, this is wild. So like when you walk into, so they turned one of the rooms into a dungeon, like into like a sex room. And I remember I walked in with a couple of like the dancers, because like all of us were working, we kind of became friends.
Mm-hmm.
So, we walked into the one room, and I'm with a couple of the dancers, and it's just like a room of people fucking. And that was the wildest thing that I've ever seen. That was the best thing. It was just so wild. Or like when you walk out onto the deck, technically the rule was like, you're not supposed to like have sex on the deck, but you could be naked. And like people didn't care. So like, so then you walk out onto the deck in the middle of the ocean, like, and we were in like it was a Greece tour. So it was like the most beautiful, warm ocean, sun, everything. So you walk out and there's just like people, just like all the things, all the bodies, all happening. Like now when you think about it, like during a pandemic, you're like, oh my God, we're all gonna get sick, right? But at the time I was like, this is like, I would just sit with a drink and just walk. I was like, this is the most beautiful and interesting experience that I don't need to be part of, but like, I'm really glad to be here. You know what I mean? Like it was pretty cool. That was cool. That's living. If honestly, you can be on a cruise and be naked, just,
that's natural. You know what I mean? If you actually think about it, that's what this animal that we call ourselves as humans, that's natural. Like the Greeks used to do it. They also used to do all sorts of weird stuff. The Romans used to do it. Like all ancient civilizations used to do it. Right now, we just kind of developed this stiff upper lip. Like, it's not for me. Like, I can't say I've tried it, but I can also say I don't think that's for me. You know what I mean? But at the same time,
but you'd be sitting with me, like having a drink about it, right?
Yeah, I'll be like, you know what? First of all, they're doing what they want to do. Going back to like, you're passionate about this. I'm like, that's fucking cool. You go do what you want, right? Yeah. Obviously, consensually and boundaries and everyone. Yeah, okay, that's all ticked off 100%. And I'm just like, secondly, I'm like, I don't have to agree with it for me for it to be right for them. Right? You go fucking do your thing. I'm going to enjoy this Coke and rum, right? And I'm going to rip in the Carlen like she's my younger sister, right? And beat her at Tiddlywinks.
I don't even know what some of that stuff means that you just said. Is that horrible?
No, it's like a little kids game. It was
Okay.
It was nothing like
like,
mean or fucking dirty or anything. It was literally just a little kids game. You play with like coins.
Tiddlywinks. Okay, I like that. I like that. It's like, yeah, like Teletubbies. Okay. All right, I get it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's rad. Like,
yeah. Don't
that's
yuck
crazy.
someone's yum. That's what I say. Don't yuck someone's yum ever in anything. Don't yuck someone's yum just because you don't like it. Mind your business.
Yeah, live and let live, man. Do you think?
Yeah, as long as you're not hurting yourself. I mean, unless you want to, but not hurting yourself, hurting others, or hurting minors. Do what you gotta do. Paint your dick blue. Dye your hair purple. Have an orgy with 50 people. Like move to another country. Fall in love, then fall out of love, and live here, live there, try this food, just dance in the sun, dance under the moonlight, like be barefoot, just live your life. And I think people like you and I, who came from places that we both wanted to leave for many different reasons, not for like hate or anything, just for many different reasons, we're like, we don't belong here. I think that is like the true takeaway, is to find everyone and activate them if they are seeking it as well, to activate them, to allow them to be like, no, you get to, right? The number of people that I told them that they just like, go move this year. Like, I don't care if we're in a pandemic, you don't like it here, leave. And then the number of people who like a few of my patients, they were like, what do you mean? And I was like, you don't like it here. You're not happy. You don't like this guy. You don't like this life. Like, you're not happy. Leave. And they're like, but I'm like, no, there's no but. Nothing is keeping you here except you. That's it. 7 billion people on the planet, over 200 languages spoken, hundreds of countries. Pick a story, man. And then like be done with it and then write a whole new one. Because why not? The fuck else are you doing? And that's how I live my life.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like we like to, life is a pendulum, right? It pendulums from all emotions. It swings round and round. It's a gray area, but we like to place ourselves in this very specific, singular box and be like, I have to be this person. And usually that's chosen for us, right? And you're like, what the fuck? Like, what, I'm supposed to be this like one thing? I was like, no, thank you. Like, I'd rather kind of do everything and, like do a few things, see a few things, meet a few people, tell a few stories, hear a lot more, and just kind of like experience what life has to offer and be committed to the journey rather than committed to like one thing, the outcome. Yeah, fuck. So I found this is actually deeply personal, but I respect you and this thing that we've created. So
thank you.
Let's go. So I was digging out. So I'm going to be moving pretty soon, just apartments. I think I'm going to go back up to Auckland, or maybe I don't. Who knows? I'll go wherever the wind takes me. And I found a birthday card that me granddad sent me, and he died last year, and I obviously couldn't go back for the funeral, right? But it was the last piece of thing he ever wrote to me or like said to me or whatever. But he's the guy who worked in Nigeria for 55 years. So he didn't know his dad. He got brought up by his neighbor, and he called him his new dad rather than his old dad, his biological dad.
Yeah.
Right. Literally in like the same neighborhood as me, the poor end of the stick. And he ended up getting himself out of there and then worked in West Africa, right, and was respected by the locals, and he was committed to the journey, and he found his place, which was Africa, and just kind of traveled around. But he wrote on it, go get him, kid. And that was basically it, you know? And yeah, I go back there quite regularly. I'm like, okay, this is a man who was committed to the journey rather than the destination. And he literally, he finished his journey once his last task was complete. So he was married for years and years and years. You know, he was in the national service. He'd lived abroad. He'd done everything. He couldn't open his right hand fully because his sailing ship capsized. He got stuck underneath the thing. He nearly
Wow.
drowned. He ended up breaking himself out. Yeah, all this shit,
What?
right? Like, yeah, like jumped out on airplanes, parachuting, all this shit. But the last task was, he was fucking lung cancer ridden and no one knew about it. But he looked after
Oh,
his
wow.
he looked after his wife and got to make sure his wife was okay and went to a home like my grandma. She's like Alzheimer's and shit. She's in a great place, doesn't have a clue what's going on, just like me, to be honest. So once that was all sorted, he literally was like, okay. Like, saw me mum, was all right, no problem, made sure everything was good, literally went to sleep, didn't wake back up, and was like, that's what us human beings are supposed to be doing, man. Of like, I'm gonna do this thing called a journey, right? I'm gonna fucking live this thing. And I think there's something else. I think, you know, spirit goes on and you go do whatever. But I think that's the point, you know. You're gonna go around, do this thing, you're gonna commit to this.
Agreed.
This is a passion.
Agreed.
And I'm gonna go do
Agreed.
the same, you know.
What a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that. That was really, I love that. I love the sentiment of like your grandfather finished his last task and then he was like, and now I'm done here. I think that's beautiful. I think that's, you know, that's how I'd want to go, you know? It'd be like, okay, I did all the things. Now let's move on.
Now you're done.
Now we're done. That's how I see death though.
It's another path to
like,
life.
yeah, it's just the end of one story to another. That's it.
Death is just another path to life, one that we almost take. Gandalf from Lord of the Rings.
What an interesting human you are. I appreciate that. That is, your quotability is, you're on point with that. I've got to introduce you to my twin brothers. You guys would not stop talking.
Good. Sounds great.
It'd be great. Listen, but Alex, I gotta let you go. I have a patient in my waiting room.
You go.
But we can take this up again if you like, for sure.
We can do this on recording, off recording. You can shoot this shit whenever with you, mate. Like, I appreciate you so much and everything that you do. So thank you.
Yeah. Let's just like, I don't know if you're still recording, but like you can edit this, right? So yeah.
I'll stop it. Hold on.
Yeah, okay.
Where are we going?